What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Blockhash Podcast channel. Today, we're going to talk about Stellar Lumens XLM and what direction the price is going to fucking go. So we're going to dive into that today. Make sure to check out our sponsor, NITROBETTING. They're the best Bitcoin betting site online. They allow you to bet and wage in casino games, video games, race books, sports books, you name it. Whatever you like, it's your crypto. Go have fun. Check it out, nitrobetting.eu. All links in the description below for this episode. Also, check out our Patreon for 2 cups of coffee a month. You can get access to this chart analysis, the one you're seeing today, before it comes out on YouTube. So make sure to also check that out. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on with Stellar Lumens XLM. We're just going to run through the gauntlet here. On the MACD, we are below the running moving average at the moment. Generally, I like to see these things, though. Usually it is preemptive of a move when it moves sideways and moves to the right, but is right under the moving average. You know, it's hovering. Unfortunately, volume for sells picked back up just over the last day. Yesterday, Wednesday, we had the FOMC meeting where the Fed said that they were going to pause on rates. I think most people anticipated that, so that happened. And, you know, markets generally react to the FOMC meetings and the rate decisions either the day before, the day of, or the day after, and we're getting a lot of reaction the day after. This has impacted most of crypto, but XLM took a sweet 3.5% hit because of this. I'm not even going to zoom in on the 30-minute chart because it just doesn't look pretty. It's just straight down. But that has kind of stalled out a little bit, so hopefully that'll drop, will stop. But that's a reaction. So we can go ahead and add in. Where are my squares? My squares are, it's hard to navigate this platform sometimes. There's just too many features. I'm pretty sure maybe it was icons. No, it's got to be here. Someone's probably screaming at me in the comments. There's my rectangle. So this whole scenario, well, it's 2 things, actually. We're going to go ahead and put a call out. So what happens over the last 9 days or so? We had sell the news and FOMC rate pause. That's generally what has occurred. The last big drop and drawdown we had was a liquidity event and some FUD coming from the Federal Reserve. But it stabilized, and XLM actually had a nice move here from the beginning of September until about the 10th or 11th of September, I guess we could say it was over. From the lows that we're at right now all the way up to about 13.4. It did that in hopes that Stellar was going to release some big news. Stellar was really hyping up the news on their social media channels that something big was coming, and it was just a rebranding, apparently, and a ad with Idris Elba, which was fine, but it kind of like took the life out of people because we thought, oh, maybe this was going to be another big partnership. Maybe this was going to be some kind of huge use case. Maybe something associated with Soroban, and nothing really panned out and happened. And so people sold that news once it finally came out because it was really a nothing burger. We kind of settled here. We started to actually move a little bit right before the FOMC meeting, and then there was the rate pause. Now, the rate pause is not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually preemptive of going back into the kind of market we want. The problem was Jerome Powell said on top of the rate pause that he cannot rule out the possibility of raising rates further in 2023, like he hasn't done it enough. So that was kind of the problem. That caused a huge drawdown. We had a few other things happen in the market, such as Mt. Gox delaying their Bitcoin being released back to depositors, I believe, by up to like a year. All these little things, and it's just, you know, created a perfect storm for people to sell their XLM. The good news is at this level, we could even say all the way down to 11 flat, It's pretty strong. We've hit it now for the third time. Again, this low, this floor that we've established is a former ceiling that we've been unable to break through, that we had a hard time breaking through back in late June, back in the beginning of April. And this dates all the way back to ceilings that have been a problem November of 2022, October 2022, September 2022, all the way back to July, June of 2022 as well. If we go back even further, we could probably find some relevancy. We'll just do that for a second, where this forms a massive former high. The last time we saw a spike in the market at 11.4 back in August of 2020. We're going to talk about that in a second too. I know I do, but I'm just going to keep preaching it because the charts are exactly the same and it's crazy. November is going to be a very interesting month for most altcoins and especially Stellar Lumens. So closing out the MACD, let's check out the RSI and see where we're at there. And whoop-de-doo, the RSI is smack in the middle. It's not oversold. It's not overbought. It's just nowhere. The moving average is literally sitting next to 50. We're trending below it. If we break the support around 11 flat, I'd be a little bit more concerned. Historically, we could go down 44%, I think, from the top of this move, which could bring us down to 10.8. I'd hate to see that happen, honestly. I'd love to see this hold and us to get away from this zone. But who knows? You know, there's a lot of ways this could play out. I'm guessing, and I'm going to find my drawing instrument, wherever that may reside. I think it's here. Yes or no? Good Lord. Brush. We could have some kind of M pattern where we come up, come back down, and then we break. That's one scenario. How do I go back there? Another scenario is we pop here and we just kind of trickle, but maybe we find our way up. Maybe not that steep, but you know what I'm saying. What I don't want to see is... Hold on. Why is this so difficult? Then this can go away. Go down here, grab our brush. Where this breaks down further, honestly, it will probably chop, 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 and then break down. We don't want to see that happen. If we break down, you know, this is what we're risking. I'm going to close the Bollinger Band for a second. The EMA, we're right on the 200 EMA if you can see it. Maybe I'll put this in a different color to make it more clear. How do I go and change the color? Should we do bright pink? Would that be easier? Make it really solid. Yeah, we're literally right there on the 200 for the EMA. We're already through the 20-1500, which don't concern me all that much, to be honest. I don't think we're holding much of a trend there because we're just chopping around. Maybe the 100, you could say there's a buoyancy effect, but the 200 is really critical right now, right? And for clarity, I'm going to change this one more time so that this isn't red, but this is more of like maybe a green. Maybe that'll be easier. Okay, that's easier. So right here on the bright hot pink, we're on the 200. If we go below the 200, I'm going to be in a nasty area, okay? That's when we're in a bear market. We popped through the 200 a couple times, weren't able to really stay the course until, coincidentally, here, where we tapped it, but we had the news. So obviously Ripple was trying to find a way to, Stellar XLM was trying to find a way to get over the 200 and stay above it, and it did. And now we're very flat. in this hopefully gigantic flag pattern of some kind, with a 200 EMA that we've tapped 1, 2, 3 times since this move on the news that Ripple, for the most part, defeated the SEC. In large part won. So yeah, this is crunch time, guys. This is the third tap. We need to stay above it. Even on the Bollinger Bands, we're sitting, right square where we probably don't want to be. So there is a lot going on. The thing is, these events, they come generally with the news. It's not like fundamentally something is wrong with Stellar, but one would think that launching Soroban and Testnet would be very bullish, but that hasn't really taken effect yet. So we're watching that very patiently. Again, this is not something that's Stellar's fault. The whole market is down. All right. Stellar has done a pretty good job holding up, even compared to XRP, which has just gotten blasted and has lost all of its gains and momentum, is back in this serious wedge. XRP is in a no man's land where it's really hard to tell, is it still going to come up and do well? Who knows? But XLM is fundamentally showing strength, and that's a good thing in the long term here. Again, this RSI, if it drifts, we're going to watch and see if it gets oversold. Likely the scenario is that maybe it does, but there is Meridian coming up in about a week. That's going to be a really key event. It's going to drive a lot of attention around Stellar and highlight a lot of things that might help prop up the price. Historically, I mentioned I was going to do this, so I'm going to do it real quick. If we go back on the chart, I'm just going to stay on the daily so I can show you when I zoom in. This is where we're at. Literally 3 years ago, this happened around the same time. July 13th for us now. Back in 2020, it was around July 7th, July 6th. We had the run up. It pulled back. We're sitting here end of September, around the 21st. This is where we're at. We are practically at the bottom of this pullback. And we're in October expecting to see at least a little bit of positive momentum that could lead into the pop I anticipate November 21st, exactly 2 months from now. November 21st, mark the date. Do we follow the same trend? I'm going to grab a date range here. Let's say from where we're at, this pullback, let's see, it maxes out down here. We get until about the 21st of November. That takes about 58 days. Okay, how far in? You got to wait 58 days, guys. Can you do it? Can you wait 58 days? So 58 days from here would put us pretty close. Pretty close. 20th of November, more or less. This is the span of time that we got to wait. Are we going to dip and come back down? Are we going to lose our gains? Are we going to pull an XRP, and pull back to no man's land again? Or do we hold the line on the 200 EMA and somewhere in this range we drift around? Maybe we actually come back above 13 cents, 14 cents for a little bit. Maybe we hold, who knows? Maybe we just stay in a choppy range between 11 and 13. But by the time we get to November 21st, we should have an answer. Is this part of a longer trend? Are we pulling out of this scenario into a bull cycle? My gut says yes. I think we've been in this long enough. It's been 2 years of bear crap that we've dealt with. And I think we're almost to the promised land here. So we're going to keep an eye on this. And I'll keep you informed if anything changes with Stellar, but that's my take on where it's at. Honestly, I think it's fine. I think this is a regurgitation. I think this is, something that's going to reverse pretty quickly. I don't know if it's going to happen in a day, 2 days, 3 days, but it will happen eventually. So keep an eye on that. Make sure to comment your thoughts down below, like the video, and subscribe. Share this with someone that you feel is interested in Stellar Lumens that needs to see this video. And I hope that it helps somebody. Make sure again to subscribe. And if you have already, thank you. If you haven't, be sure to do so. We do videos every single day pretty much. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. Enjoy the day. Cheers.